IVM.
Hi, I'm Satyajit.
Hi, I'm Racheta.
Welcome to Paperback by the Open Library Project.
We have as our guest today Tanisha Fagwani, founder and CEO of EFGstore.in. In the first half, we discuss the Harry Potter series and how a tweet reply from J.K. Rowling led to Tanisha starting her company EFGstore.in, which sells licensed Harry Potter products.
In the second half, we also discuss Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod and Things Are What You Make of Them, Life Advice for Creatives by Adam J. Kurtz. Happy listening.
So the boy must die, asked Snape quite calmly. And Voldemort himself must do with Severus, that is essential. Another long silence. Then Snape said, I thought all these years that we were protecting him for her, for Lily. We have protected him because it has been essential to teach him, to raise him, to let him try his strength, said Dumbledore, his eyes still tight shut. Meanwhile, the connection between them grows ever stronger, a parasitic growth. Sometimes I have thought he suspects it himself. If I know him, he will have arranged matters so that when he does set out to meet his death, it will truly mean the end of Voldemort. Dumbledore opened his eyes. Snape looked horrified. You have kept him alive so that he can die at the right moment. Don't be shocked, Severus. How many men and women have you watched die? Lately, only the ones whom I could not save, said Snape. He stood up. You have used me. Meaning? I have spied for you, and lied for you, and put myself in mortal danger for you. Everything was supposed to be to keep Lily Potter's son safe. Now you tell me you have been raising him like a pig for slaughter. But this is touching, Severus, said Dumbledore seriously. Have you grown to care for the boy after all? For him, shouted Snape, expecto patronum. From the tip of his wand burst the silver door. She landed on the office floor, bounded once across the office and soared out of the window. Dumbledore watched her fly away, and as her silvery glow faded, he turned to Snape, and his eyes were full of tears. After all this time, always, said Snape.
Thank you, Tanisha Fagwani. That was an excerpt from the book Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. We'll be right back after this to discuss the series in further detail.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Sruvalam, and you've been listening to my podcast and the multiple chapters of my book, Dream With Your Eyes Open. And I think to that, I've had good chats here. And I think chapter 13, my book, is all about Q&As, and I'm sure there are more Q&As. Happy to answer them, so send them in, and happy to have a dialogue with you on that.
So if you'd like to ask Ronnie a question, send it to us at dreaming@ivmpodcast.com. If selected, we'll read out your question on the last episode and have Ronnie answer it. You can also send a question to us on social media at IVM Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Welcome to Paperback by the Open Library Project. I am your co-host Satyajit, otherwise known as Onion Knight in most food circles. I'm hosting this podcast with my co-founder at the Open Library Project, Racheta Sharma.
Hi guys, my name is Racheta and I'm an ex-banker who gave up my banking profession to follow my passion and run libraries across the world. The Open Library Project is a non-fiction book library service offered to businesses on a subscription basis. We're trying to move away from the run-of-the-mill library concept by setting up rotational and locational curated libraries at co-working spaces, corporates, and business incubators. The idea here is to create value, build a knowledge community, and encourage a growth mindset amongst our members.
Today we have with us on the show Tanisha Fagwani. Tanisha is the founder and CEO of EFG Store. EFG Store is a pop culture themed merchandise store holding official licenses for brands such as Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, DC Comics, The Lord of the Rings, and Friends. They have recently launched a brand new catalogue for Disney as well as Marvel characters. EFG Store has extended its presence to 10 online marketplaces as well as 50 retail stores across India, which include select Hamleys outlets. EFG Store was awarded the Comic-Con Fan Favorite Exhibitor in 2018, and Tanisha has been facilitated by Talleyrand in the 21 under 21 category. She is also awarded the Indian Women Excellence and Leadership Award by the Government of India. Welcome to the show, Tanisha.
Hi guys,
It's
so happy
to have you here.
Yeah.
Finally have you on the show.
And do a fiction series. Finally.
Obviously,
Yes.
we had to.
So yeah, Tanisha is all of 22 now.
22.
And yeah, that was a long list of things you've achieved. And
And a long way to go.
This basically all started from a viral tweet. So tell us, the story of EFG and how it all came about.
So I think it's going to be so relatable to the podcast we're doing today, because that is literally what I've done so far. I think it was, I was trying this for a year, and I think it was August 2015. When I used to tweet to J.K. Rowling rigorously, just asking her random questions, asking her to come to India, asking her anything that she would just answer to, because that time she was answering a lot of fans about random questions. And just one day I typed, "What is Hagrid's Patronus?" And she replied on Twitter saying, "Hagrid didn't have a Patronus, it's a very difficult spell." And I think it broke the internet in multiple ways, because from a fan point of view, it was because Hagrid didn't have enough happy memories to produce a Patronus. So that kind of broke the internet for one of those, viral post-symptoms of Harry Potter, of like J.K. Rowling still giving us shocks to the end. So that really went viral. And then I always wanted to do something with Harry Potter. I just had to. So around like 2016 end, 2016, 2017, I started selling Harry Potter merchandise. It was not official. It was all unofficial merchandise, but we just started anyway.
So you must have been in college at this time, right?
Yeah, I was in college. I was in my second year of college, and I just started selling it at exhibitions, and then the website went live. And funny story, I met this guy sitting right next to me. Yes, so then I just, he was one of the first people to buy from the website, worth 3,000-4,000, I remember. And I called him and I was like, are you sure? I know you, I'll give you a discount and everything. And so he said, I think this is going to be great. This can be big, we should do something bigger. And I was like still in second year of my college, so I was like, let's do exhibitions, let's just chill out, let's just make some extra pocket money. I was really of that attitude, but, just took the leap of faith, or however dramatic people want to call it. And I think I said yes to him coming on board as first like an angel investor, then a full-time working partner. So yeah, that's how the journey started. We went ahead, and then I think by the time I was giving my final board examinations, we were signing the deal for official Harry Potter merchandise across.
During the board examinations.
During the board.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's been
so stressful. I don't know what I was more stressed about.
I know you were definitely not stressed about your board exams.
Yeah.
So.
But that's wonderful. It's like.
So actually, this.
Never imagined that would happen.
Where I met Tanisha for the first time was I gave a lecture at Jain College. And she saw a pin from Game of Thrones that I wear. And she came up to me and she said that, are you also interested in Harry Potter stuff? And I'm going to launch my website and stuff. Yeah. And she gave me a card at that point. And that card I kept it on my desk. And I didn't pay any heed to it for maybe a year. And 1 year later, I got a message saying that, this website is already launched. So when I went on the website for the first time, there was maybe merchandise worth 8,000 in total on the website, and none of it was available in India at that point. So there were time turners available. The Deathly Hallows neck pendant was available. There were some wands available at that point also. So I bought whatever I could. It didn't seem like that big an amount, and that's how I got really interested in EFG store. And now many years later. Not those many years later, a couple of years later, we are available in Hamley stores, and it's been quite the ride.
It's been quite the journey,
This book is, Harry Potter, coming back to the book, is a reflection of so many emotions, it's about strength and unconditional love and friendship and, teamwork and all of those things. So, what are the 3 lessons which you really, take away from this book, or which have really been vital for you to actually start a company related to it?
I would just say that I was never a reader to begin with. In fact, reading happened to me when I was 15 or 16. And being honest, I would read like 3 books a year, and sometimes Chetan Bhagat, call myself a reader. I'm being so honest right now. And then finally, I laid my hands on Harry Potter. I started the ancient way, and I think I've never stopped reading after that. So maybe not a lesson directly from the books, but something that I picked up from Harry Potter mainly is that I've got so much into reading that this year my goal is to read 101 books. in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope I get there. And but 3 lessons from the book directly. I think one is just what Dumbledore emphasized throughout the book is like love is greater than any power, anything dark in the world. So you can overcome anything with love, and that is what Harry's mother died for. So it's just love in any form. Second would be just how important your friends are, because friends and community, I would say, because I don't think Harry would be anywhere if not for Hermione, Ron, and
absolutely,
the Dumbledore's army or whatever you call it. So it's never a one-man show. No matter who gets the highlight or who is up there, being the brand of the entire thing. It's always the people below, just rooting for you, standing up for you. So I think that is one of the lessons I learned. Third is something that I read from the extract about the character Severus Snape. Is just about how you misunderstand someone throughout. I feel like you shouldn't judge people no matter how or what they are, because you don't ever know their backstory. So only for Severus Snape, I think I picked this up from the whole series, because his character arc was just something unexpected. I don't think people saw it coming. We weren't in an age when we were discussing theories for Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
So when it came out, and I was standing in line to get that book at Crossword or whatever. And it's been quite the journey ever since then. And I think Severus Snape, because of him, I really picked up that you shouldn't judge people because you don't know what they've been through.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So true.
Like the themes running through the book are so pure and so amazing. Like there's redemption, forgiveness.
It feels real. I think it is real. I think
it's real to a lot of us, right? Like who grew up with the books.
That's the magic of the book.
I think she's been discarded from the like the magical world, and like the she's been pushed in the Muggle world.
Into the Muggle world.
Yeah, to
write
a book
and
like
inspiration.
Yeah, I mean that's the only explanation, because how do you come up with so much, and like everything seems so real, and like there's no like thing on the table that you can go against her. So
and there's like so much thought to every character used, even like the Dementors. It's basically showing you your fear in your face, and if you can fight it, you can overcome anything.
In fact, an interesting thing, I think when she really spoke about Dementors, she said, like J.K. Rowling said, she was going through a very depressing time in her life, and that's how the idea of a Dementor.
So Dementors are basically a metaphor for like personification of depression, right?
Yeah.
They come and they suck all your happiness out and sucking your soul and all that. So it's fantastic. Some of the lessons I have personally learned from the series, is like what Tanisha was saying earlier about not judging people.
Yeah,
it's something that really struck out to me. Another character, Draco Malfoy. Right? I love Draco's character because this guy, all said and done, he's perceived as this evil person and all, but the truth is that he's put in such impossible circumstances. You're in a family where all your family are what do you say, Dark Lord
evil,
people or like evil people, right? Dead eaters and all, like right up in the upper echelons,
like the peer pressure of
and this guy still against all that, he didn't give himself over completely to the dark side, which basically tells us that there's hope in everyone.
There's good in everybody.
And
there's hope for redemption.
Definitely.
Like however bad your life may be, at some point you can always redeem yourself by improving yourself, by improving your actions. Right? Sorry.
And that exactly brings us to why we need to read the book also, because if you see the movies, you don't really understand Draco's character. All you see him as maybe under peer pressure, but everything that Satyajit said about like redemption to coming out of the dark side, not surrendering completely. I think Draco, you need to read about his character more than just see it on TV or see a few memes about it these days, but you really need to like endure certain characters. In this book, I mean, there are multiple. I don't think any of us can choose. I'm glad you're not popping that question. 3 favorite characters. I'm not going to be able to answer
I was just going to pop that question.
Okay.
I have a small quiz for you, so let's do this. But I'm going to start with the question you asked me not to.
Okay.
Which is your favorite character and why?
I think this is really difficult for me. I think Fred Weasley was one of my favorite characters. I will tell you,
unexpected
very,
choice.
very unexpected. I think 2 reasons why. One, of course, George and Fred were very like
together.
Balanced, 2 sides of a mirror sort of a thing. But I think Fred was always a little more peppy, a little more flirty. There are times when his comebacks, what he talks, everything has been quite different from George. Nobody realizes it because they think like they are like the same people, but they are not.
Right.
And apart from that, I think I really cried when he died. Like it was one of the most emotional. I think after Dobby's death, his was the death that I really I was crying on. So that's why he's just stuck with me. So even my Instagram caption is like, forever waiting for my Fred Weasley to come along, because I think I was really attached to the twin character, I think.
Interesting.
That's a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
Not many people choose one of the twins as their favorite character.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. And which is your favorite book of the series?
Very
This one's
difficult.
easy for me.
Let me guess, is it Goblet of
It is
Fire?
Goblet
Because
of
you read it
Fire.
150
It
times.
has to be Goblet of Fire.
I think for me, it was... it's a difficult choice between Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince, but I'll go for Half-Blood Prince because, again, Snape and Draco's character just oozed out, and the whole, how people will go Slytherin is evil, Gryffindor is brave, and just the whole breaking of that phenomena in this book has just taken me a step back. And also when she introduced Slughorn's character in this book, I think it was really overwhelming to see what people in power do, or how ashamed people are of things they have done in life, or how certain people have difficulty moving on. I mean, we go so deep into the books while you're reading it, you may never realize. So I think it is Half-Blood Prince for me.
Nice.
Great.
And favorite spell?
Favorite spell? I think I love the spell Stupefy, because you can just stun anyone. And I think, I know it's a little on the evil side, but yeah.
But you want to stupefy so many people in life.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they
every
are
day.
stupefied.
And we're discussing this on a Monday, guys, so just think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, not the bio. Anyway. Yeah.
Favorite
Stupefy.
house?
So on Pottermore, I'm a Gryffindor, but I think I really give signs of Hufflepuff, and I'm a huge, a very proud Hufflepuff person, follower, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a very underrated house, but if you go to see when the Battle of Hogwarts happened, and there is a line that says most of the Gryffindor stayed back and most of the Hufflepuff stayed back. So I feel it's really underrated, but there are some really good characters, whether it was Cedric Diggory, who was who was the actual Hogwarts champion, was from Hufflepuff. So it's a house that has qualities of everyone, which people perceive as something as gentle or boring, or, I'll never be in Hufflepuff. And
Was Luna Lovegood also?
no, she's in
She's a
Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw. She's so smart. She has to be Ravenclaw.
But her character is amazing.
Yeah, I think if you ask me another one, I was gonna jump to Luna being my third. I mean, she was amazing.
It's just such a different character from anything we've ever read, or
Yeah, it's just her quality of telling truth so comfortably, which makes you uncomfortable. It's just different, whatever she says.
One of the best, I think,
best characters.
Even scenes that stands out for me is the Neville scene in the first book, right? When you stand up to your friends, because no one tells you about that, right?
Exactly.
Your friends can all be idiots. You have to learn to stand up to them when they're doing something wrong. It's so unspoken of, and never, it's the first time anyone ever expressed that kind of emotion to me. That, hey, your friends may be fools, so you shouldn't be doing what they're doing.
I agree.
Phenomenal display of courage.
Yeah. There's just so many
I like how so
moments
many life lessons are there in this book, and everyone just keeps calling it children's book, and
it's crazy,
kids should read it, and I am just no, I still read it. I make it a point that every 1 or 2 years I pick up the books and read it,
and it's beautifully written. So
you can keep reading. I mean, I of course can keep reading it because I love it and I'm a big fan and all. But I've read the books. I think I've read the books 3 times in its entirety. Once when they were being released, once in my early 20s, around 25 or something, and recently, 3-4 years back. And every time I have just
different
been blown away because
it's like binge reading, if you want to call it.
Reading,
you can't stop.
I can't stop at one book. It just goes on through the whole series, and then you're 3 days later, you've not slept, you've not done anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I have friends, throughout my school and college life, they're who reads Harry Potter? Or just the fact that, we're too old to read the story of 11-year-old boy starting school, and I was forcing people, you should read it. And then finally one of my friends picked it up because her boyfriend is a huge fan, and I was so hurt. I was
you took it personally.
Yeah, all this while I've been telling you. And she's just been calling me every week discussing one thing or the other. So my only suggestion to anyone listening to this and looking out to start reading, I think Harry Potter books are just apt for it, because you can't put it down, and anyone wants to build that 21-day habit. I think you'll take a little longer to finish the whole series, and you should just, this is the way.
This is what will get you to that 21-day
and then
habit.
you can keep going on juggling between fiction, non-fiction later, but just start. The habit of reading comes in so difficult.
Comes through Harry Potter.
Comes through Harry
Potter. For me, it has started that way.
No, that's great, yeah. In fact, when people say that the books are about magic, I like to tell them that, it's just set in a magical context. The books are more about humanity and the choices of humans.
Which is like magic, right? It's rare.
Anyway, great. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back to discuss a couple of other books.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another incredible week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. A couple of messages up top. First, we're hiring right now. We're looking to hire a producer. We're looking to hire copywriters. We're looking to hire an audio engineer. We're looking for web developers. We're looking for business people. If you're looking to work at IVM, which in my opinion is probably one of the best places to work at, then please do send us an application. Also, please do download our app if you're not listening to it on our app. Our app is available on the Play Store. And I also want to thank our sponsors this month, Savari, Storytel, and Paytm Money. Thank you very much for supporting us. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by Mayank Shekhar, film critic and editorial head of Midday Entertainment. They talk about their memories from St. Xavier's prom nights, Mayank's very first encounter with Cyrus, the recently concluded elections, and Mayank's process of writing. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Ronnie Screwwala joins Karthik Nagarajan to talk about his early days as an entrepreneur and what has kept him going during adversities. And if that's not enough Ronnie Screwwala for you, listen to his podcast, the Ronnie Screwwala Podcast, where Ronnie talks to me about the benefits and disadvantages of being an outsider, building a brand identity, and the learnings from collaborating with business giants across the world. On Business.next, Govindraj Athiraj is joined by author Jason Jennings. They talk about the key ingredients that are crucial in building a high-speed economy. On Geek Fruit, Tejas, Alika, and special guest Ishan Krishna of Bhayanak Moth go down nostalgia lane and discuss the world of Pokemon, including the newly released Pokemon Detective Pikachu. On Simplified, Chuck, Naren, and Shrikeet discuss the origins of the Yeti, Loch Ness Monsters, Bigfoot, and other cryptic creatures. On States of Anarchy, Humsani's guest is Benjamin Katzer-Silverstein. He's from the Foreign Policy Research Institute, and he busts myths about the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And with that, let's get you on with your show.
Welcome back, guys. We still have with us Tanisha Fagwani, founder and CEO of EFG Store. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi.
So, we wanted to talk a little bit about J.K. Rowling and the impact. Like, she's had a huge impact on your life, right? Because that tweet went viral. It led you to starting a business in the Harry Potter universe.
Definitely. Not just that tweet, just her, the person she is in general. When you read about her story about how, she turned from a billionaire, she gave up her billionaire status to donate and start Lumos. And it's just you look up to someone so much that you realize you're going in the correct direction. Whether you see her tweeting about politics, whether she's a Briton but she's speaking about US politics right now, and it just shows how much humanity is left, how much people still want to do to bring change in the world. And I think she's an excellent example of everything you need in a good citizen, good writer, good person, because I think her struggles have been a lot when you want to hear her story, or if you go deep down, read some of things written about her, whether it's the internet or her books. It's just, you can feel it. You can feel the struggle she's been through, or the loneliness, or the rags to riches, to whatever she has been to. I think she's going to have a huge impact on the world.
I think
for
she's already,
centuries. She's already there.
Are having and will continue to, like
definitely.
any great literature.
And it's not only her work, but she's also setting that example personally.
Right,
so that's more admirable, and
which is phenomenal. Like when you are in that position of power, it's so rare to see. But there are the few people up there who show us examples of great philanthropy. Yeah. And J.K. Rowling, definitely one of them.
Yeah. I think if it's like Best Human Award, I would just give it to her.
I think we should just
why don't we do that?
Tweet this podcast to her.
I mean, I hope she will be great if she does listen to it.
We love you.
We love you, yeah. I think you should come to India.
Yeah.
She's a huge fan of like tea, and she spoke about Indian tea once, and I'm just waiting for her to be like, I'm coming to India.
I think it may be this podcast that gets her to India. So good luck to all of us.
Let's hope so.
The next book that we're talking about is Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So tell us a little bit about this book, Tanisha.
Okay. So, like I said, I was discussing about Harry Potter, a book that I read very often, or a book that started reading for me. So all the books that we're discussing are books that I read very often, or I come back to for something or the other. And, The Miracle Morning is something that personally changed the way I function every day. And the book is very simple from the title itself. It's about having a good morning. But the idea of the book is that how we are always complaining throughout our day that we don't have time to do this, we don't have time to meet this person, we don't have time to make our cupboard or clean this, or just something as simple as exercise. And, when I started reading this book, I was like, I'm not a morning person, and I don't think I can do this morning miracle. But, the more I read, and I realized that this is the solution to everything I am going through. Because if I wake up at 8:39 every day, I'm all grumpy, running to office, running for this, running for that. And all this book says is just wake up an hour early every day, do what you want. There are certain things he has mentioned in the book that you can do is, be in silence, or exercise, or visualize, practice your affirmations, or, read or scribble, do what you want. But just start your morning an hour early and everything will fall into place. And in fact, I read this book sometime in December, but it took me a lot of time. And now I think in the last 2 months, I've successfully started waking up between the 5:30 to 6:30 bracket, because it has helped me so much, just the positive impact it has had on me in practicing affirmations to, things I just keep delaying, saying that I don't have the time to do this. Okay, I wanna put this face mask on my face, but I don't have the time. I'll do it on the weekend. And I just realized that, just waking up early has overall improved the functionality of my life. And that is just brilliant. And this is a book that I recommend to everyone who just, complains about life problems. I'm like, this is your solution. Just start reading it. So that's about that.
So how did you make the switch from being a non-morning person to becoming a morning person?
It has a lot of tips. Of course, it's even got affirmations you read at night, so you wake up early. But apart from that, I think it's just the idea of having that, that life where you want to do everything, and you sleep peacefully, and you wake up, and then you have things to do, and just the idea of everything falling in place, or starting your morning and then not running for work, just being in time to get your cab, making your box, not troubling your mom. Those kind of things just make you feel so excited that I think it's an automatic switch that happens. But apart from that, yes, I started working out in the morning, and once you start seeing change, you also want to do it more often. So
That's true.
It's just been a habit, and it's just been a lifestyle change personally.
I think the difference is between doing something once in a while and doing it every day.
Yeah, and it's very difficult. I think it's just the waking up is the most difficult part of your your day. Just waking up and getting out of bed if it's cold or however it is. Except for Game of Thrones, we wake up, but otherwise we just don't end up waking up. But,
So there's another podcast we had with Ashton Doctor, who runs a podcast called Habit Coach with IVM. And he also discussed, small habits which actually culminate into, shaping your personality or improving your functionality. So one of the things he mentioned was having a cold shower every day in the morning, and it sort of clears your head and gets you organized for the day. And it could be anything. It could be a song which you hear every day, and it becomes this recall of it's time to be alert. So
there are many tips like that if that is something we're looking for. So I can't take a cold bath even on a hot summer day. I'll take a bath with hot water. But I think one thing I started doing was I would just, if I was going to work out or whatever I was going to do the next day, I would just remove the clothes and keep it in advance. I would try to keep my phone a foot or two away, so I have to actually get up, put the alarm on snooze. And then after a few days, it just started catching on. And then, like I said, once you start seeing the improvements, it's just people aren't patient enough to they're like, no, this won't work, or the way people are these days, this won't work. I can wake up later and do this. I can do it at night.
It's not instant like most things in our life.
Yeah, and it just takes a lot of patience and just dedication towards this, and it is difficult, but it's also the life change you will see after that. And I mean, once you read this book, the first few pages of the book is just people describing how much their life has changed, how much weight they've lost, or how successful they are. And it's just because most of the successful people still do say you have to wake up before the sun rises. There are unlimited benefits to that, but if not from a business perspective, I think just keeping your day in alignment, it's very important to start waking up early. It took me a while to get there, to be honest.
5:30 to 6:30 is pretty early, I got to say.
It's just started now. I mean, it took me a while, like I said, but it's going to be a lot of fun once you do it, because
J.K. Rowling disagrees with you though on this, doesn't she?
Why?
I saw one of her tweets, I think a month ago, maybe a couple of months back, where something similar was posted, and she said, no way. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not necessary to reach success.
Maybe.
But of course, That may be the exception that makes the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's awake all night and working hard on something or the other. But
Yeah.
I think it's what works for you, but
Personally,
it definitely does work for a lot of successful people, so we should give it a try.
you should.
Definitely. So the next book that we're moving on to is Things Are What You Make of Them, Life Advice for Creatives by Adam J. Kurtz. So this book is a very cool book. Yeah.
It's a very cool book. You have to see it. This whatever I say won't justify to this book, but like I said, any book that I speak about is mostly books that I go back to or I read. So this book is this, colorful, vibrant book. I'm trying to describe it. It's like an A6 size book with just listicles. Yeah, I'm serious. It just has listicles in it. And the topics are just about what do you do when you fail. And then there are 6, pointers to it that says relax, take a step back. And then there are, few snippets in it. And what I really like about this book is like it's written from a guy who is an artist. And he's written a lot about, from a design perspective, about how difficult it is sometimes to just do work on your own or do something for yourself, or like something as simple as how to work at home, because so many people, so many freelancers these days are just working from home. They get up, and how to differentiate that between your house and your office in such a funny, in such a cool, short way that you would really like it. So what I really picked up from this book in particular was it's not just if you're a creative or a designer or a social media or a blogger. If you do anything of your own, whether it is what you guys do or what a mother does is just, getting up, making food for their kids. It's just simply about how much you can do in life, and in such a funny, nice, short way. And it's a half an hour read, but it's a lot of fun.
They have some perforation and all in the book as well.
Yeah,
It's a handwritten.
It's a handwritten, then digitally printed book, and there are certain things, like if you really like a certain snippet, there is that way where how you tear your checks, then you can tear it and put it up.
Oh yeah, you can take it out of the book. Wow, that's cool.
I would never do it, but like I would never do it. But
a purist would never tear a book. Right?
But it is still really, it's a really good book.
Great.
So that's recommended for anybody who's
doing anything of their own. I mean, I'm like I said, it's a very fun book while you're reading it, and you'll realize, especially if you're on the younger bracket or just coming up, or just in general constantly worried about competition or people around you doing bigger, or something as simple as seeing someone else's followers increase and getting bothered. Something as small as that being put into such simple, nice words, telling you to relax, take a step back, telling you there's good in the world in a funny way. I think that's really important, and I think no one else could have done better than this guy, Adam. I think he's a genius. We all should look up his work as well.
Great. Sounds amazing. I think we should pick up one copy straight away of this book.
Yes.
And so, Tanisha, tell us a little bit more about your reading habits. Do you read online, offline? Do you read physical books?
So I try my best to read from the Kindle from a point of view of saving paper. These days, I have been like, I've also picked up this change where whether we're having stuff from metal straws, whether we carry it, and those small things. So I tried my hand at picking up Kindle. It didn't work. So what I've started doing is I've started buying books off OLX, or picking them up at those flea markets where you buy them by the kg. But I read very often. I don't think I sleep even one night without reading, whether I'm out or I'm in. I'm always carrying a book. And like I said, this year my target is reading 101 books, and I'm 34 down.
So 34 books down this year.
I'm 34 books down this year, and I think I'm going to...
That's a lot of books,
That's a lot of books.
Amazing.
Go.
So are these fiction or non-fiction?
So it's a mix of both, because I'm very lucky to be... having a hang towards both of them, but of course, like it took me a really long time. It took me like more than a month to finish Think and Grow Rich, because it's a book that is written in such old school language when you can pick up a secret and it says the same thing. But like Think and Grow Rich is more in literature and content, it's more rich. So it takes me a while sometimes if I don't understand the language of the author, or if it's just not fast going. But I try to pick up a balance of both. Of course, I'm a little partial towards fictional books and a little more towards like stories and snippets, but I try.
As long as you're reading.
As long as I'm
And how many Harry Potters were on this 34 books that you read this year?
So this year I have just started reading it again. Like I said, my best friend is reading this, so she wanted company, so I've just started. But the Game of Thrones, the Ice and Fire series, is 5 of them are on the list because I finished them before starting the new season this year. So that,
nice.
but a lot of...
So thank you so much, Tanisha, for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I hope we do more fiction podcasts. I think we should, like I said, we should make a quarter quell every quarter. The next podcast should be a fiction podcast. Congratulations to you guys for doing this successfully, and I think this is going to go a very, very long way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shop on efgstore.in and get a discount. Use the coupon code ACCIO10, ACCIO10, and get a discount. And thank you so much, Racheta and Satyajit, for having me here.
Thank you for coming on the show, Tanisha. And a big thank you to all our listeners. You can follow the Open Library Project on LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook for latest updates on our events, and stay tuned for the next Paperback podcast on IVM Podcasts. Happy reading. You can follow IVM Podcasts on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at IVM Podcasts. Find new episodes every Wednesday on IVM Podcast app, website or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Did you know that Parsis in Mumbai, instead of being left at the Tower of Silence after they die, are now cremated? And why? Because a cow fell sick in the early 1990s. Did you know that the smog in Delhi is caused by something that farmers in Punjab do, and that there's no way to stop them? Did you know that there wasn't one gas tragedy in Bhopal, but 3? One of them was seen, but 2 were unseen. Did you know that many well-intentioned government policies hurt the people they're supposed to help? Why was demonetization a bad idea? How should GST have been implemented? Why are all our politicians so corrupt when not all of them are bad people? I'm Amit Verma, and in my weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen, I take a shot at answering all these questions and many more. I aim to go beyond the seen and show you the unseen effects of public policy and private action. I speak to experts on economics, political philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, and constitutional law so that the insights can blow not only my mind, but also yours. The Seen and the Unseen releases every Monday. So do check out the archives and follow the show at seenunseen.in. You can also subscribe to The Seen and the Unseen on whatever podcast app you happen to prefer.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.